Smash Mouth Sports, we are live. I'm your host, as always, Preston Bailey. With me is Cam Vieira. We are honored and privileged to have the better half of Felger and Mazz. Tony, how are you?
I'm good. How you guys doing?
Good. Now, don't worry. Cam said, don't give Felger a hard time if he can't figure out how to log in. He specifically said, don't do that. So we got to get the thoughts. Of course, I'm in Tampa. You guys are in. This is the Felger and Mazz, part of the biggest show. Cam tells me this is the biggest show on the world on any planet. He loves this show more than anything. 98.5, the Sports Hub. Is that the case?
Well, so I would say to Cam, only this planet? Like, we couldn't go any further than that. We might as well extend it to Pluto, Mars, all the others. Look, we've been we have a lot of fun doing what we do. Here's Felger now joining us.
Mazz is on.
Yep. So, we've been pretty fortunate. It's been a good number of years.
Felger, we appreciate you jumping on here. I'm Preston Bailey. I'm in Tampa. We got Cam. You know Cam. Of course, you know Mazz. Now, Cam was freaking out because you had some kind of AOL account from 1985. Is that true, or what's going on with that?
Yes, an AOL account. Yes, I do.
All right, it's all good. So we want to get your guys' thoughts. We appreciate you coming on. We know you're part of the biggest show. What are your thoughts on the Bucs and the Packers? Because I understand you like Brady, but you love Aaron Rodgers and the Packers more. Did I understand that, or are we way off on that?
No, I was rooting for the Packers. I'm from Milwaukee. I'm from Wisconsin. I was fully on board with the Packers, rooting hard for the Packers. So it was a fucking crushing defeat.
I love it.
It was one of the worst. It was honestly one of the worst. It was one of the worst I've had.
Jace.
Is that because you're disappointed? You thought your Green Bay Packers were going to destroy the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Is that the reason?
I didn't think they would destroy them, but I thought they should have won, and it was there. It was there for them. They gave enough chances to win, and they should win. And I also sort of feel like it's the last chance. Like, they're not going to get many more situations where they're the number one seed and are at home and have a team from Tampa at Lambeau in the middle of January, and Rodgers doesn't play much better than that than he had been playing. So it's like, I don't know. I don't think we're going to ever be much better and be in much better of a position than that for a long time. So that was really it.
Yeah, I mean, that's tough. So, Mike, you've been talking this week about Aaron Rodgers, and you're ready to move on? I'm
ready to move on. I am. Wow. Just because of where he's at. It's like I love that they drafted the kid. No sacred cows, Cam. I'm not one of these guys like, oh, you have to keep Rodgers. You can't win without Rodgers. I don't believe that. I don't believe he's Tom Brady. And I felt the same way about Brady. I was obviously wrong, but I don't feel that way about any individual athlete. I really don't, unless it's, the NBA, that's sort of different. But most of the other team sports, Rodgers is one of these guys that's bigger than the team, and he doesn't win championships. So, what am I wasting my time for?
Wow. So you're ready to ship Aaron Rodgers out of town. You feel good that Jordan Love can really take the keys, even though he couldn't beat out Tim Boyle? Is that
no. I don't think that kid isn't ready. He hasn't even – he's the third quarterback. He doesn't even dress, so he's not ready. But to keep Aaron Rodgers and for it to be fully functional, you got to pay him or give him a raise. And I'm not giving him a raise. I'm not doing that. And then if I just make him come back and play under his existing contract, which he doesn't want to do, he's going to be all pissed off. He's going to mope. And, I just don't think it's going to work. Rip the Band-Aid off. I'll take a step back to take a step forward.
Mazz, let's let Mazz weigh in on this. Mazz, what are your thoughts on that? Are you in agreement, or you think he's gone totally the other way?
Well, so look, as a general practice, I would say you're always better off being ahead of it. So look what happened here in New England. The Belichick was, in theory, ahead of it, had the guy lined up. They decided to forego that plan, and look where they are now. So I think you're always better off being ahead of it. I don't disagree with the premise. Where I disagree with Mike, and we've been talking about it this week on the air. I just think and I'm not even sure we disagree, so I shouldn't put the words in his mouth. But I just think the Packers are going to cave. I think they're going to pay him because I don't know that at the end of the day they have the balls to pull the trigger and cut bait and move on. I just don't see him doing it.
I'm not sure they're going to do it. You asked me what I would do. What I would do is I would move on. I would move on, but they'll probably cave. they'll probably cave at the end of the day because it's a hard thing to ask. I mean, Rodgers is at the top of his game, so and the other kid isn't ready, so they have to bridge it and really accept a step back kind of year. And I don't think they have the balls to do it. So I don't think they will do it. I just think they should.
Felger, it sounds like you need to own the Green Bay Packers. You need to be the sole owner of the Green Bay Packers, or at least the general manager, right?
You know, Bedard said something interesting this week about I asked him what the biggest problem was with the Packers have had great quarterback play for almost 30 years now. I mean, really, they might have had the longest run of all these teams we talk about, back-to-back great quarterbacks, Montana to Young. You know, I think they've done it longer than anyone. I mean, Favre got there in, was it 93 or 94? I keep forgetting the years.
I think it was 93.
Okay, so, I mean, we're going on 30 fucking years of elite MVP caliber quarterback play. I mean, really. And they've won twice. It's like, that's not enough. There's something, you know. So I asked Bedard why, you know, what's the commonality? And he said, no owner. That, you know, when it's not quite right, if the coaching's not right or something's not quite right, there's no one there to bring someone into the office and sort of put the pressure on them and ask the questions and sort of demand more out of what's there. And I thought that was interesting. I never thought of it. I like the fact we don't have an owner, you know, because I think most owners are kind of unlikable characters. I think it's a really nice story that the community owns a team. Like, I've always liked that. But maybe Bedard's right. Maybe that needs a little bit of pressure there to just get him to that next level.
Yeah, I do think Bedard is right, because the way I look at it is, when you remember a couple years ago with the Patriots, Bill Belichick was ready to move on from Tom Brady. How many years ago? 4 years ago? 5 years ago? He was ready to move on. So sometimes you need that owner to say, look, this is the one time I'm going to overrule you. What are your thoughts?
Mazz, why don't you take that one, bud?
Yeah, so look, I think that the big thing to me is the accountability factor, right? It's the accountability factor. If there's an owner there, I think everybody feels like ultimately they have to answer to the owner. And so, you know, sometimes that can be a bad thing if you have a meddlesome owner. But if you have someone that knows when to pick the spots and intervene because there's a crisis going on, you can have a good owner. So the only thing I would disagree with Bedard is that it's not just about having an owner, it's about having a good owner. So, you know, if it's Woody Johnson intervening, I'm not sure it's going to make a hell of a lot of difference. You know, but if it's Robert Kraft, or maybe certainly the ownership in Pittsburgh, back in the day, the Mara family, and then, you know, things have changed, I think, a little bit there. They've had some instability the last several years, but I think that, you know, if you're looking at something like that, then absolutely it's beneficial. There's no two ways about it.
No, it's good. I mean,
that's a great point. Yeah.
It's a crappy owner. That's not going to help you much.
I'll ask you guys both this, because, and Mike, you said this right away after the Bucs Saints game last week, that Mike Pettin scared the crap out of you going against Brady because of Brady's history against him when Rex Ryan here in the AFC East. And so, I mean, I want both of your thoughts on this. That last play of the first half, how is everyone not standing on the 5-yard line? What's going on there? Oh, no. Well, that's like – that was the most depressing part of the whole thing, of course, Cam. Like, you know that, you know, and your specialty is being a security guard at golf events, and you fucking know that. So how is it that highly paid and respected coaches, defensive coaches, offensive coaches, the head coach, how many people are on the goddamn staff? 18 coaches there with headsets and clipboards. Not one of them, when Cam and Taunton says, "Wow, can you not stay on the 5-yard line?" Not one of them thought to say, "Why don't y'all get back?" Like, I mean, it's a pretty simple thing. Get back. There's 8 seconds and no timeouts. So get back. Did anyone say get back? Not only one guy on the sideline said get back. So
you guys weren't worried about Scotty Miller. Scotty Miller today said he was better than Tyreek Hill.
Well, I don't care who's up there. I don't care if Cam and Mazz are lining up at receiver. There's 8 seconds left and no timeouts. Get the fuck back. Like, no one thought to say it.
Oh gosh, I know, it's unbelievable. And you know, we'll shift gears here to this. You know, and now be careful, guys, because we do have a Buccaneers fan here, so don't trash the Buccaneers organization the way you like to do on the air. Here's Tom Brady going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who hadn't won a playoff game in almost 20 years. In his first year there, he has them in the Super Bowl. How bad does Belichick and Kraft look right now?
Oh, Please, they look horrible. Horrible. I mean, they couldn't look any worse. And that's really only half the story. I'm not telling you anything you don't know, Cam. The half is that they could have kept him and certainly been far better off than they were this year. The other half is if they were going to let him go, they needed to have some sort of succession plan, and they didn't. So right now it's the worst case scenario. It's one of the great blowouts in the history of sports right now, and it's early, so it can change. But you let Tom Brady walk out the door and you go 5-9, the 2 wins against the Jets don't count. They go 5-9 and Tom Brady's back in the Super Bowl. Please. They look like a bunch of jackasses is what they look like.
I thought they cared about it too. Like I thought, meaning the debate, the appearance, how it looked. I know they care about it. So like how they let themselves get that bad and be that cavalier at that spot. It's just I'm so disappointed in them. I thought they wanted to show up Brady. Like they love showing up people. They love proving they're right. Like that's the whole thing. It fuels them. It's like we're smarter than everybody. We're right. Look at those idiots. Look at how everybody else handles it. They're all screwed. They don't know what they're doing.
Look how dumb Denver is spending all that money, right?
Yeah, they're constantly tisking everybody on how stupid they are and look at how smart we are. So here was like the best chance to prove it. We let our best player go and we're still good, right? Suck on that. I was sure they would be ready for it and they'd prove it. And it's like they didn't even try, really, when you think about it. It's just like so disappointing.
By the way, just quickly, because I looked this up while you guys were talking a minute ago to Mike's point about Green Bay. Favre's first year there was 1992. Since that time, the Packers have won the most games in the NFC by a wide margin. It's like 35 games more than the Dallas Cowboys. Okay. And Green Bay has won Super Bowl. The two teams in the AFC that have won more are the Patriots and the Steelers. Both have won multiple titles.
Correct.
And the gap between New England and Pittsburgh is not as big as you would think. It's only about, 10 or 11, 12 wins, something like that. Green Bay is 30, 40 wins ahead of Dallas. They've dominated the NFC during that. And I take it back. They have 2, right? Because I forgot about the one with Favre, Mike. But, to dominate a conference for that length of time and only have 2 where the Patriots have 6 and Pittsburgh has 2 more, they've underachieved. I don't think there's any question.
That's gross. Sickening. So that's it right there. How do you have those 2 quarterbacks back to back and only win twice?
Let me ask you this, and I appreciate we're at about 12 minutes, so we got a couple more minutes here, 10 to 15. So I want to ask you, would the Packers been better off not drafting Jordan Love? I know you're not with the sacred cow, but drafting a Justin Jefferson, drafting a tight end, drafting a defensive line, 2 players they could have had instead of Jordan Love. Are they starting to look like they're looking like egg on their face as well?
They had the players to win that game. They didn't lose that game because of talent. Even if Tampa's a little more talented than them. I mean, it's the most talented team doesn't always win. That's not why they lost. They lost because they – can I swear? Am I allowed?
Swear. Go for it. Go for it. Swear.
They fucked up the game situation. That's why they lost. They didn't lose because of talent. They lost because no coach thought to say with 8 seconds left in the second quarter, why don't you get back? Get back. No one said that. And that's why they lost. And they lost because they gagged at the end of the fourth quarter. And they lost because Aaron Rodgers, once again, just came up short when there were plays to be made. Talent wasn't reason. They weren't short on talent. They were short on poise and execution when it mattered most. And that's where they came up short.
I mean, Rodgers took advantage of Brady took advantage of the Packers' turnovers. Rodgers didn't take advantage of any of Brady's picks. It's that simple.
Yeah, the Buccaneers were more timely. So it's not – we didn't lose on talent. If the Packers had lost the next week to Kansas City, I would have said you lost on talent. I think KC is a more talented team. And if the Packers couldn't keep up with them, couldn't run with them, then I would say, okay, you're a couple players short. But I don't think that was the case against Tampa.
And I'm sorry, just quickly, that sequence at the end of the half, you do the math. Green Bay should have had 7 with 5 minutes to go in the second quarter. They got 3, so they lost 4 points right there. Then, Tampa Bay ends up getting 7 they shouldn't have gotten when Green Bay could have scored there and had the ball to start the third quarter. You all add it all up. The game could have been 14-14 with Green Bay having a couple of possessions in a row and instead went to a 21-10. It's like a 20-point swing. It's massive.
It was absolutely massive. Preston, you got something you want to ask?
Absolutely. Last question, guys. Appreciate your time. Who's going to win? Are you rooting for Tom Brady or the Chiefs? Who's going to win?
Well, I think the Chiefs win, but that's sort of unofficially. Like, I think the Chiefs are better. I don't think anyone. I think it's their time. I think the Chiefs are so good. They have this ability to, turn it on and off. We'll play. We won't play. Like an NBA team. So I think the Chiefs are the superior team. I was stunned the Chiefs were only favored by 3 last week. I think it's too low this week. So I'm high on the Chiefs, but there's no way I would ever bet that because I'm not betting against Tom Brady right now. I think Brady and the Bucs are the only team on the planet that could beat him, and it's only because Brady and his thing, the Brady thing that he's got going on.
The Brady magic.
I've got a week and a half to make an official prediction, but right now I think KC is much better, but I wouldn't bet against Brady.
Hey, I'm not denying Jim Murray at this point. He saved me a seat on the pirate ship, man. I'm on the pirate ship with Murray. I'm riding this sucker all the way. I'm done questioning Brady at this stage. And honestly, I'll root for the better story. If Brady goes to Tampa, if he goes to Tampa and shoves a Lombardi trophy down the Patriots' throats, tell me that is not the greatest story ever. So I have to admit I'm rooting for that. I think that's unbelievable if that happens.
I agree. Best story ever. Tom Brady comes to the Bucs, and now Bruce Arians looks like a genius, and Bill Belichick looks like a Bruce Arians from previous years. So it's very interesting to see. So, we appreciate you guys coming on and, giving us 15 minutes or so. We look forward to having you guys on again. Thanks again. We appreciate it.
Okay, guys, no problem.
You're very welcome, guys. Best of luck. All right.
Thank you.